Hello, so as usual it's time for a Sunday stream. Now hopefully the microphone's working because YouTube's done that thing again where it's not showing any audio input. So I've just simply got to hope the microphone's working. So whoever's on the stream in a minute, when you get the notification, tell me if it's working or not, please. Because as I said, it's very frustrating when it decides that it gives you the audio level thing below in the streaming thing of the microphone, but of course it's showing it as not working. So can you hear me? It's working, okay, good. So yeah, it's just YouTube's interface is broken again. I had the DKP50 up for the thumbnail. Now, if I can get it to show on the webcam, you might work out why. People who are on the Discord might know why. Right, what's the right way around to see it on the webcam? Is it that way? Yeah, there we go. You see where the needle is? And that's not me manipulating it. So yeah, it's quite hot down there, let's say that. That's why obviously I have all of this for the people who are wondering about safety. eBay mostly, TDP as I say all the time, but yeah. So let me just pop that back with the other items. We'll see by the end of the stream if it's gone up higher actually. Let me just pop that back in there. So in regards to safety, this. Shielding. Shielding. Shielding, shielding. As I said, I monitor the levels outside, and with the shielding it's fine, but I'm probably going to get some more lead just in case. Can't really have enough. It's NBC, but it's long since expired. The thing I was showing that guy, if you didn't know what it is a DKP50 dosimeter pen. Basically, you charge it, as ionizing radiation enters it, it causes the needle to move inside. Attack of the Dead Man's the World War I thing, isn't it? I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you about it because it gets asked on loads of streams like it's some sort of joke question or something. Well, that's good, Richard, thank you. So yeah, what we'll do, if you didn't see, I think it was 38 Rontgen, wasn't it? Like just over 38 Rontgen. What we're going to do is see about at the end of the stream, if that's in an hour's time. Don't forget to like the stream, everyone. It says there's 23 people on up there and 5 likes. It says I think it's 38 Rontgen. Oh, right, you won't be on Twitch tonight, but you'll be on tomorrow. I'll catch you on there tomorrow then, Mike. It says 38 Rontgen as of now. What we're going to do is when the stream ends, I'm going to hold it up again and we'll see if it's gone up any higher. Can I get lead poisoning from it? I think that'd be the least of your worries. I mean, you wouldn't eat the lead, would you? But other than that, not really. You're not going to eat anything out that box, though, so it's not really relevant. As long as not enough water got in it to survive, it will be fine. It depends totally how much stuff like water soaks into the wick, doesn't it? And the stuff. Depends what you mean protect you from, John G. If you mean sort of tear gas and stuff like that, yes. Full NBC threats really depends. That one? Soviet PDFD. And you can ID it from the poster. Look, it's on the poster as well. What I've also been doing is, let me just move it a second. You won't be able to see this on webcam, but I'm just going to move it. What I'm going to do is put my CDV 715 directly across from the box, because I was noticing earlier the needle is just ever so slightly starting to move on that now. I can see the needle from here, not a clear reading, but I can see if it moves. That's one of the quite interesting things of it now. You asked about the Finnish Civil War because you constantly ask about Finland. Sorry, it gets a bit irritating, but yes, I do know it was the whites versus the reds, like the like Russian Civil War, as in communists versus anti-communists, and the anti-communists win. But just to be honest, it gets quite irritating if a Finnish person asks questions about Finland every stream, and that would go for any country. Like if somebody, even an English person, right, and I'm English, asks questions about England non-stop and the history of England, that would get really irritating on stream. So I'd ask you to stop that, please. We get that you're a patriotic person, but comes to a point where you just annoy people. They used to use hemp, didn't they? Back in the old days. It's not a modern thing. I mean, you've got artificial nylons and fabrics much better than hemp now. But yeah, anyway, what we want to do is obviously have a more lively, friendly chat on here. Because I'll be honest, after the politics stream on Thursday, I got a bit pissed off. And now there's no questions coming in. Brilliant. So I've pissed everybody off, and now everyone wants to chat. The thing is, I don't mind people talking about history. The problem is there's one or two people that will constantly talk and talk and talk about their country non-stop. Like, did you know this about my country? Did you know that about my country? You know. Oh, just in the background there. Yeah, it's there. Yellow filter, what? The awful Chinese industrial one. Yeah, that's awful. Don't ever rely on. When I did the review of the PMK3, my opinion on it is better than the PMK1. That's still not saying much. It's still got kind of a weird droopy face thing. Look at that. Ooh. That's all right, Mike. I've been at work. Work was busy. Tired from work. Glad to be sat down. Was ill during the night last night. Didn't get much sleep, but decided to go into work anyway rather than phoning in sick, because I always do that. I don't know why. I've not had a sick day in over like a year. At the current job I've been working, I've not had a single sick day at all in like a year and a few months of working now. But I generally, like, you know, if I took a sick day, it would mean I'm really ill. Yeah, it's definitely better than the PMK1, as in it makes an airtight seal to my face. It's more comfortable than the PMK1, but there's still a lot of things where you think, why didn't they just improve the design further? You know, if they've got a PMK1 and they've made it slightly better, why not just change a lot of things properly? PMK1, I think, is at a dog shit stug. Same with the GP7, as in that mask up there. PMK2 I've never used. PMK3 is all right, but still pretty backwards for when it was made. Right, well, when was this particular mask made? The one I've got here, 2004, I guess. So it's a bit older than I thought it was. But the point was, you know, that these aren't, you know, much of an improvement over that design. The filters are very strange, aren't they? I really don't get why they went with this. I know you can put Ghost filters in it with the little adapter, and I've got that with mine. But why they thought this was a good idea, I don't know. I assume it cuts down a bit of sort of housing from the mask, making it a bit more slimline like that. But it seems pointless to me. It's not an old filter. If you look at the date on the filter, if it's visible, it's from 2004 like the mask. If you look underneath there, this probably won't show up well on camera actually. Let me see if I can shine a light in there for you. It might just make it too bright in a minute, but yeah, it's going to make it too bright, isn't it? But the point was that if you look in there, it's got a paper heaper filter, not a asbestos filter. Yeah, I still collect lighters, but I haven't seen any cool, interesting designs in a while. The last videos I've done on lighters are like those sort of cool old retro ones I got for restoration. You can work that out from my username, Norbert. No, they weren't up today, Peach. They went up Monday, I think, in the week. So about 5 days ago, 6 days ago. I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday, but it was, you know, right at the beginning of last week we did them. Although we did a couple and then we did a couple of more like a day later. So I can't remember when all of these went up, because I think on one day there was a bit of tinsel on there. And then, you know, like a couple of days later, I put the whole lot up. But there's definitely been streams of those in the background. I'm not sure quite what you're asking there, Clorox. If you mean where can you find bags for things like the Soviet masks, eBay? Right, all right, I'll put it on. You can see the voice diaphragm and I'll take it off. But, yeah. I've not connected the drinking tube system or anything to it, as you can see. It's just the mask itself. I've adjusted the straps, though. So there you go. It's all right, I guess. I actually probably ought to tighten it a little bit more to get it to make a proper airtight seal. But, you know, it works, but it squeezes my nose still. As you can see, it's still got the weird peripheral seal in there, like the PMK1 did. That's awful. It's not as bad on this mask, but it's still there. So yeah, it's better than the PMK1, but they could have still made it a lot better. So there you go. There's that. It reminds me a bit of the Scott M95. Just the M95 looks a much better mask. But yeah, there we go. I'm sure the PMK4 is way better because it looks like a totally different mask design, but there isn't such a one TNT. There's lots of good ones, but there isn't really a best mask. All you have to do in that regard, Stug, if you're on about this mask, is the bit here. If you twist this, I think it is. Hang on, let me check which bit it is you twist, but I figured it out. Oh, it's not really much to figure out. Yeah, it's that, right. So see this bit? If you're on about this mask, let's see if I can fold the strap so you can actually see it working in real time. Right. You have to excuse the squidgy looking mask, but see the drinking tube there? You twist this, look, and it moves. It's probably not moving very much on camera. But yeah, you can stop it sticking up your nose if you just twist that. Well, I wouldn't recommend you breathe for an old GM38, but not an old asbestos one. There's lots of prototype pictures of masks online, Goodins. Depends which one you mean. Probably about 140, 150. I don't think anybody does really anymore, that guy. If you watch a historical thing, setting like the 1800s, they call them colonials. But I don't think anybody would go colonials today. What are you saying? Did I get an American lighter, Ghost Jesus? Or I've just seen your comments. Not any old Zippos. I got a like what might have been Italian World War II lighter. I've showed it before in a video, but I'll go get it. What is in a clear voice diaphragm? Because a lot of old Soviet masks have voice diaphragms, but yeah. Or do you mean like the first generation of Russian Federation military masks with voice diaphragm? But yeah, it's obviously a bit better than the previous style ones, but yeah, it works. Anyway, what was I going to yeah, get that lighter, wasn't I? If it's here. It is, right. Oh, oral nasal cup. Ah, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yes. I mean, annoyingly, the PBF has an oral nasal cup, but, you know, they never carried that on. Yeah, this lighter, it's not got any fuel in it, and it doesn't light all that well, despite me doing some restoration things to it. So it's got like a playing card etched in on that side. You have to excuse my fingers falling apart. I've been working with chemicals today, and I never wear gloves at work. It's got MF, I guess, or FM on it. Yeah, FM, sort of etched into it on that side. And how it would work, it's not too dissimilar from a Zippo inside. You have obviously like your wick soaked in fuel that you fill up at the bottom there. And then you've obviously got this with the flint. I'm doing it the wrong way, aren't I? Do it that way. But as I said, I haven't got any fuel in it. And that, you know, lights it. I had to literally replace every single internal part of this because like the old wick was gone. All the old cotton wool was literally falling apart and wouldn't soak fuel. You know, the flint had gone. Lots of it needed lubricating to actually move properly because bits were rusted shut. So if you fill it, it will work now, just not light reliably. So I'd never use it as an actual lighter, even though I don't smoke anymore. But you know what I mean? I'd never carry this as a lighter to use, but it's very nice. Well, the thing, like I said in the thing before, is you could use a rebreather in a place of no air, but if the atmosphere is so, you know, strong you get crushed, then no. So yeah, would it work in space? No, in terms of atmosphere. But if you mean could you use it where there was no oxygen? Yes, I suppose. That's cool. When you say a copy of All Quiet on the Western Front, was it originally based on the book, or do you mean the old black and white film or the colour remake of it? Talking about whatever. I think there's a license for it, Mr. Ginger. I certainly don't have any. Again, I think because it's the UK where licenses, different types of powders like black powder, you know, regular gunpowder, smokeless powders, they all fall under different things. So some of them are covered like fireworks, others are covered, but you know, I've got no need to have them. So, I used it in that video I named and it worked. The problem is, of course, you know, you'd have to train yourself how to use it. And when you open a scrubber unit, it lasts one use and then it's gone. So if you had enough money, I guess, to buy a few spare scrubber units, you got good at being able to put it on quickly and like pull the pin and use it, then it would be fine. It would work. It's just the problem with using that compared to a gas mask or whatever is you're going to blow through a lot of money to, you know, prep to use it. And as Vladimir says in my video, I'd be dead if, you know, I actually had to quickly put that on and use it because it took me too long to work it out. The mini monitor's there. Can you not see it? So I've got the speaker turned off at the moment, but there we go, he's on. If you're wondering why it's picking up more activity than normal, because normally it wouldn't be at about 1 to 2 counts per second, it's because the radiation box is over there and unshielded for doing stuff in the video. So I'll just turn the speaker off now or I'll get irritating that that's over there. But yeah, that's why earlier on I was showing lots of lead shielding. Because yeah, that's what I've got wrapped around this box. I think people have Jackson, but I might be getting some more free lead for it soon because one of my mates says he thinks he's got a load of lead off cuts they don't need, so I'll use that to put around the box. But what I do to make it as safe as possible is I've got a Geiger counter in this room, and then what I can do obviously is if there's a leak, I'll know straight away because it will start registering higher than background. But at the moment, you know, it's background because the box is actually closer to me than that Geiger. But normally, when the box is near where the Geiger counter is. How do you mean the best color for thermals? Do you mean thermal cameras, thermal clothing? What? Because thermal cameras completely depend on what the preset you're using and what sort of heat things. I'd assume some old rubber NBC suit. Maybe a Warsaw Pact one. I don't know. Depends if you want to be seen or not seen. If you actually wanted them, you know, in the types of, you know, you might actually need it kind of thing, I'd go with orange, you know, like a bright fluorescent color. Actually, just something out of interest, if I put the speaker back on. I just want to see if you can hear it enter a gamma field. Let me just walk the probe along directly in front of the box. There we go. But yeah, so my first GP5 I got from a surplus shop because I was an idiot and paid too much for it. The second GP5 I got off of Amazon quite cheap. If you mean deliveries, you're getting close to Christmas, so a lot of stuff is going to be delayed at the moment. Cheers, Mac. Mine is size 2, which I think is medium. As in size 0 is probably the smallest, size 1 is small, size 2 is medium, 3 is large, 4 is very large, if it uses the old Soviet sizing systems. Yeah, I mean, with my flare, the orange is very good if you want to quickly spot something that's hot in the environment. But yeah, if there's a lot of different heat sources, you don't want orange on because it gets distracting because you'll see little orange blips everywhere. No, Alex, I'm not. Yeah, and I imagine it's got lots of shielding type stuff around it, hasn't it, Ghost Jesus, whereas a regular rebreather wouldn't. I've only got red ones, and I just got those because they were on eBay at one point, and they're cool. And this was before all the 3D printed ones turned up. My favourite type, though, are the anti-flash ones. You know, the one that like sunglass outserts, like the tinted ones. But sadly, I've never seen those for sale, or at least not for a good price. But the red ones I thought looked really cool. But I like red-green outserts, but I think tinted are probably the coolest ones and the most practical. Because I can see a lot more use for something, you know, reducing glare coming into it from like flashbangs or flashlights than, you know, something for a specific laser designator color. Liters of what? Sorry? Because you said how much liters do you have? Liters of what? I don't know because I've not used green. I mean, in theory, if we go off of like different, you know, things, if you're looking at something that's green, green is the easiest color for the human eye to see. Red doesn't ruin your natural night vision as much. But I think generally with a lot of the outserts for masks, the green and red was actually done with laser designation in mind. Like they'd either cancel out a certain color to protect your eyes, or it would let you see a certain color of laser for a designator easier. I've played Battlefield 1942 and 1943. As in, a lot of people don't know, 1943 is a Battlefield game. It was the one that was it on just PS3 and Xbox 360? But it was like just a couple of the, it was a Bad Company 2 engine, wasn't it? If you mean MREs, Mr. Ginge, no. And I'm not going to buy them to review on the channel because they're too expensive. Oh, something that might interest people because, you know, I'm a glutton for spending money I should be saving. I've bought another one of these. Somebody on eBay was selling them in the UK for 100 quid for the complete set again in a working condition. So I thought, while I wait for the spares to repair this one, and that might be a slow process, I'll get another working one and then just try not to break it. I've never played Battlefield 1, Peach, so, you know, I wouldn't know, but good for you. The one I'm getting, though, is an actual Victorine one. Whether that's better or worse than this one, I don't know, but because I missed that thing not working because it is very good for low accuracy millirontgen counting. Not low accuracy, sorry. Low, high accuracy, low scale, if that makes sense. Which particular one, Mac? If you're on about this one, this only goes up to the default tube to 50 millirontgen. Because on the ×1 scale, it's 0 to 0.5. I'll hold that up there so you can see it. On the ×10 scale, it's obviously 0 to 5. ×100, 0 to 50. Yeah, this one did work for a few days until I managed to overload it, but I'm not going to do what I did with the other one again. But, you know, this should be good fun to repair as a project. Yeah, Jackson, as I said lots of times on eBay. Mostly Norbert. If you watch my video on the Avon M50 versus Scott GSR, notice the big improvements the M50 has over the GSR, and basically just those. You know, so like higher strength components that are lighter and more compact, basically, not something that's bulkier and more fragile. Oh, that's interesting, Ghost Jesus. Didn't know that. Yeah, quite a few Mac, all kept in a box. If you probably missed it when I was showing earlier, but what I've got all this for is what goes around the box when it's put away, and then I can take measurements, you know, to check it's all safe. But yeah, what I was doing at the moment is just basically, let's see. So how long have I been streaming? And I do actually need that lead sheeting, by the way, because I've got radium in there. If you don't know how hot radium is, it's a bit scary. So radium 226, right? Let me put the mini monitor somewhere where you can see the display. All right, thank you very long. Not thank you very long, sorry. Thank you very much, Hype. Yeah, I'll certainly be able to do a few videos of that. My cesium should be coming Tuesday, so that would be very good for those. Hey, Paul, thank you very much. If you've got a Discord ID, post it, and I can invite you to the server. That's very interesting, Ghost Shoes. I never thought of that. That's true, isn't it? Right, let me put the mini monitor up where it's visible. I'll turn the speaker on, and then I want to show you something. So, let's put that there. It's not the best place to have it, but... Oh, that's good, Mr. Ginge, because it does. Oh, thank you very much as well, Mac. But yeah, so let's put this on with the speaker. So yeah, let me show you radium. So I've got my bit of radium. Oh, it's already from here. Right, okay. So there's a bit of, not very much, but in there's some radium 226. Like literally radium dust from old clocks and things. Yeah, see that? That's the gamma of it. From that little bit of dust. Put the bit in front of the alpha monitor window. Yeah, so radium. Just flick him back off. So yeah, there is a reason I use lead. Why would you be afraid of thorium? Thorium is nowhere near as hot. And, I mean, uranium I'd be more scared of in terms of nukes can be made from it, but radium is 1,000 times hotter in terms of activity than uranium. To show you, I've actually got some uranium in there and thorium. Okay, so give me 1 second. So, let me just find which bits I put them in. Because I want a sealed one to be safe. Just a second. Now they're in here. Right, this will be good. Right. So to show you in terms of activity, right. This is extracted thorium dioxide. It's not a full vial of it, but that's thorium dioxide in there. Right, let me put the uranium down a second. Thorium dioxide. That's the gamma activity, not much higher than background. That's in front of there, but nowhere near as hot as the radium. The uranium, like a bit of pitch blendor kind of thing. I know the webcam's not going to focus when you want to look at it. But anyway, that is like that in terms of gamma. That in terms of like beta coming through the plastic. So yeah, radium, that's right, radium is a lot scarier than those two. Out of all the natural isotopes, as in, you know, not ones that are made from fission, radium is the hottest thing on the planet. Yeah, because uranium has to be refined. when they make it for weapons, because you have a thing called uranium-235 and 238. Yeah, exactly. 235 is the really active one, but 238 is kind of works against it, doesn't it? Hot, Mr. Ginge, is in it means giving off radiation. That hot is a term used for radiation a lot, as in, you know, think of like the energy. eBay Jackson. Probably not at the moment, Norbert, just because nobody tends to watch them when I do, and then YouTube punishes my channel when I do it. So, you know, as in punishes me, as in less people watching webcam streams, so your channel starts getting less traction, and it's a vicious cycle. Fair enough, Mac. I don't know enough about how they do all the fish and stuff, you know, with that, but I do know that, you know, 238 has a lot less activity, doesn't it? No, I think strontium and certain things do actually generate a bit of heat, don't they? As in, you can use them to power stuff on their own. Let's see, Terradecimeter, which one is that? Ah, okay. I didn't know that hype, but yeah, thank you for telling me that. So yeah, it's still useful then, but it's just, yeah. Oh, isn't that the one that can actually go into the sievert range? I think that was the one I called the Tetra on Discord earlier, which I gave the wrong name to. Does it say the total thing it can go up to? I'm just looking on the thing on Amazon. But I'm pretty sure I've seen a video with one of those TEPA, or whatever they're called, therapy, where they actually take it to the Chernobyl Pripyat basement in the hospital, and they get, you know, to a couple of sieverts on there, where most Geigers stop at like 2 millisieverts. Oh, here we go, measurement ranges. Gamma dose rate, 0.19 to 999.9 microsieverts. Oh, it goes to 9999 MSV, so millisieverts. Or to 999,900 millirem, so millirontgen. I mean, 999,900 millirontgen is going to be 999 rontgen, isn't it? So yeah, that actually goes to a really good level, that one. Cheers, Corporal. What's my favourite Geiger counter? For practicality in some ways, that one. The mini monitor. The reason being, the mini monitor is very, very good with the probe if you want to do safety checks. Because what the mini monitor lets you do is, what I really like about it, you have the speaker on, right? You want to check in case something's contaminated. You can run the probe along without looking at the screen, and then, you know, hear if the clicking speeds up or goes down. With a lot of Geiger counters, it's not that practical, especially because it's got the alpha mica window on, so, you know, it'll pick up stuff that doesn't even give off beta. Yeah, the Gamma Scout, though, I don't know what's the top range it does, because I know a lot of the Gamma Scout series only go to like a millisievert, don't they? And again, so that's barely anything compared to that Terra one that the person posted about before. They look good enough units, but the problem is if it only goes to like 1 or 2 millisieverts, it's not really any better than SOXO1M or any of those other kind of cheap dosimeters. Yeah, for $100, that would be very, very good unnamed. Because, yeah, I said the DP75 is pretty good. I've got a Soviet DP5V on order as well. Like I say, the problem with these, I know this one's broken, but I can demonstrate this with the other one, is, as I said, these only go up to 50 millirontgen normally. With custom tubes, you can get them up to 500 millirontgen, but that's still not very high for a proper Geiger counter. Right, with the DP75, does anyone want to see how hot that piece of radium was? You know, that tiny little bit of radium. Not in terms of gamma, because I think in gamma it's about 15 millirontgen per hour. But yeah, well, this will be interesting, right? Because I can put the hose, not the hose, but you know what I mean, the thing from it quite far away. So we can do this fairly safely, as much as none of this is safe, but you know, I'm endangering myself, nobody else. So there's always that. Right, I need to get this where you can see the screen on it. Because I've not actually done it with this one, so I don't know how hot it goes. And it goes hotter than anything else I've got, except maybe the Carbon 14. But Carbon 14, the only thing I've got that measures it properly is that. And that maxes out, you know, at 2,000 counts per second, which I think is about 1 millisievert from the other models they do. So anyway, yeah, let's get this set up and see if we can aim it there. So let's get this where you can see it. Just checking it doesn't say my address on there. Good, it doesn't. Right. You can't see that there, can you? Hang on a second. It's not going to be brilliant trying to demonstrate this because the screen isn't massive on it. Trying to think how I can do this where I can put the webcam back easily in a moment. Right. Tell you what, can I put the webcam on the keyboard? Wait a second. Can it go on there and then see the screen of that better? Right. Ignore. Right, there we go. Right. Can I now get this in? Yeah, there we go. That's not going to be perfect, but right. So let's put it on the lowest setting, and we need to take it off that thing. Or it won't matter the alarm's on. You won't hear it anyway because there's no headphones plugged in. So let's zero it, and you'll see that it will basically be with the gamma shield closed. It's going to be 0 to probably 0.5 to 1 because this is on the smallest scale. Because this is on 0.5 millirontgen per hour max. Okay. Oh, I hate this noise. The DP66 didn't do this, but the DP75 makes that like fingernails on chalkboard noise when you unscrew it. Right, there we go. It's got the beta probe open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the cable slightly further away so I can put the cable down, you know, and then not be stood right next to it. Tell you what, let's put this on it. Doesn't really matter if I have it on it or not, but might as well. I'm not trying to aim at my crotch, by the way. Let's just get that. Right, there we are. So that's on there. Right, I'm going to pop this on the floor. Hopefully not in anything else's field, as in so we only get readings from the radium. So that's there. What's the measurement doing? Oh, if you're wondering why the screen's lighting up, it's because when the alarm goes off, the screen lights up. I don't think that's much higher than background. Some of the other things might be putting slight readings into it, but it's not going to interfere too much. Right, so let's get our friend 226. And yeah, so if you're wondering what's in here at the moment, I'll just show you quickly here and then put it down. 2 broken aeroplane dials. I think some broken watch hands are in there as well, and radium dust. In terms of measurements of dust, not even 1/10 of a gram. So let's put that down in front of here. And what you should see is it's probably peaked, has it? Yeah, right, it's peaked. Okay, let's go to 5, 0. Oh, he's peaked again. Right, next one. 50 millirontgen, reset. Where's he going to stop? Where's he going to stop? Is he going to stop on this one, or is he going to go to the next one? Right, at the moment, he's at about 40 millirontgen. He's slowing down. Let's just see if I can get it a bit closer to the beta window. Because if I get that a bit closer, we'll get a higher reading. So let's just try this. I can't see the thing at the moment. The problem is getting this to sit still and not roll away from the sample. Right, he's maxed out again. Right, let's go to 0.5 rontgen per hour. There he is. Right, let's see when the needle stops. So each one on there would be 100 millirontgen. So at the moment it's about 75 millirontgen. Let me just try laying the radium on top of the actual probe like this. Right, if I can get it to balance. Hang on. I don't want to be holding it longer than I have to. That's the only thing. Come on. Sit still, sit still. You're hot and I don't want to keep touching you. Right, let me just hold it like this for a second. Right, okay, I think this is on dial as far as it will go. So he's getting to about 150 millirontgen per hour. So yeah, that much radium gives off 150 millirontgen per hour in beta and gamma. So yeah, it's actually about 10 times the beta, interestingly, on that. If I just, I hate that noise. Hang on. Sorry. There's no way of doing it without twisting this. Right, okay, so just to show you, if we go to, I'm pretty sure it's on the 0.51. Let's just zero him again. Right, there we go. Right, I'm pretty sure it will max out this one, but stop on the next one for just the gamma reading. So let's do that. Hang on. So I'll get the probe in the right place, but I've got obviously the beta shield closed now. So that's about there. Is he maxed out? Yep. Right, let's go to this setting. Right, where's he going to stop? Oh, he's at 3. Oh, is he going to go over there? Okay, so that's 5 millirontgen. I think it will stop on the next one, because yeah, it's about 15, I said, wasn't it? So 15 would be between 1 and 2 on there, as in, like, there. It might have to be a bit more spatially kind of, lined up with a probe at a certain angle to do that, though. Because you probably have to get this, because it's not a massive sample for gamma, in just the right place. Oh yeah, he's got to the 1 now. Let me just try laying it on top of the probe a second, and then I'll move my hand. Yeah, see, that's coming up to 15. Yeah, it's good because the speaker's not in, so the alarm's not on, but you can at least see the light. But yeah, so when people are like, oh, radium couldn't have been that scary. Yes, radium was scary. There was a reason it gave lots of people cancer who painted the dials and things like that. There's like 1/10 of a gram of radium in here. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to put this away. But yes, if you were wondering where these came from, just a second. And some of you are going to be annoyed that I've done this, but I've bought a load for spares and repairs, which I'm just taking the stuff off of. Old aircraft dials. Because with a lot of these, they had the radium paint on. So anything that was loose, I was just collecting off. So let me just put the wand on that itself. Where does that go to? Oh, I'm going to need to go down to the smallest scale again, aren't I? Right. Let's put it on about 3 for the alarm. So this, bear in mind, this is only gamma at the moment. Yeah, he's just about there, isn't he? Let's do that again. Anyway, as you can see, the dials themselves aren't as hot as the thing. You can buy lead on eBay, and it was off cuts from we used to have in the garden. But yeah, there we go. Let me flick this all off again. But yeah, so there you go. And let's see how he's got on from the video so far. I can look actually at the screen and get an idea. Actually, the light's easier there. He's about where we left him, to be honest, so you can sit back on the radium again. Anyway, I'll pack this back up. NBC suits would not stop corporal gamma radiation. They'll do nothing from that. They'll cut down beta a bit and they'll completely stop alpha. The main point of an NBC suit is you can decontaminate it very easily. So let's put you back in. Actually, I don't put that bit away, do I? Just put this bit away because I have that out on display with the probe. Also means if I want to check a sample, I don't have to open all this up again. Put stress on the cable. That'll probably be enough. Right. So put you there like that. Close this bit. You can go back on the shelf and then I'll put the webcam back in its normal spot. There goes the grenade. That should do it. Grenade back. Right. Anyway. There's the webcam. There he is. So yeah. But yeah, if you want cheap lead, the best thing to do on eBay at least is type in something like lead scraps, and you can find loads and loads of offcuts of lead that are in good condition, just not big enough for like proper panels. So it means people sell them quite cheaply. So it means if you're wanting to buy, bits, hang on, bits of lead like this. I know I should wash my hands after lead, but I'll definitely wash my hands after this video because I've been, although it's sealed in bags and things, touching radium and that. If you want to buy, I think like 3 bits of this size, like 10 quid, not bad at all, really. The GP5 of the Doctor, or probably actually some mask like that one, where my hand is now. But yeah. I wonder if this lead's radioactive. Some lead actually is. That isn't sort of reassuring. But yeah, hopefully you found the radium quite interesting anyway. As I said, I find that really interesting. It's just, there was a reason it was banned from putting on watches, because yeah, you would not want on that on your wrist every day, day after day. Saying that, my granddad wore a radium watch for like 40, 50 years, and he's 93 now? 93, 94? He's still alive, so, But the people who painted the radium dials did not do so well. If you don't know who the radium girls are, look them up. It's quite interesting, but, because one of the things I used to do was lick their brushes to get the brushes to a fine point, put the brushes in the mouth and do that. So they were getting bits of radium in their mouth. And yeah, I think 1 curie of radium is 4 Rontgen per hour in gamma radiation alone. And that's think about a foot away. So in terms of beta, as I said, I found with mine at least, it's 10 times the beta reading of what you get on the gamma reading alone. Or like the combined reading is about 10 times. So yeah, would it be like 40 Rontgen per hour? Like a gram of radium or something? It's kind of scary to think about that, isn't it? And that's not even something like cobalt or cesium or strontium. It's just one of the naturally occurring ones. Anyway, if you're wondering how lead works, it's a certain thickness of lead cuts the gamma dose down by half. Gamma radiation as well, I think it's double the distance, quarter the dose, isn't it, the logic they use? Because I can certainly observe that with Geiger counters. If I put the radium somewhere, go a bit further away with the Geiger, you start losing energy quite quickly. So that's, with safety from that sort of stuff, yeah, you want as much lead between you and it as possible, but ideally as much space, and limit the time. Well, up to you. Make sure it's legal where you are, I guess, from here, firework. But yeah, the Zippo's cooler than the Bic anyway. Bics aren't very interesting. They're like the cheapest disposable lighters around. Hello, Crusader. That's down to opinion, Norbert, but I would say maybe like an MTP type one. But again, it really depends. Like, because some people hate certain camos, some people like certain camos. It depends the environment you want to use it on, or use it in, rather. Well, you can't use them, Crusader, if there's no oxygen, or there's really hazardous things you can't filter. That's like the main limitations of them. Obviously you're limited by the time of the filter and breathing resistance and all sort of things like that. But if you mean compared to things like self-contained breathing apparatus, the limits of them obviously are that the air has to at least be filterable in there in the first place. Yeah, I've heard about that, Survive. There's quite a few things like that, isn't there? They used to put mercury in people's fillings, didn't they? Which was another bad idea. If you want to get an original one, pH gas hood would be very, very expensive. If you want to get a replica one, £30 to £100, depending on the quality of the replica and how much it's being sold for. It'd have to be a country with quite a long history. So, and I don't mean that to be insulting to certain countries, but I mean, like, if you were on about like North America, although you've got like obviously some Native American stuff and early kind of settlers that didn't really survive there, stuff, obviously America's history isn't really famous until sort of the colonial period and then like the War of Independence. Obviously England and a lot of Western Europe has a lot of history. Lots of the Asian countries, China, Japan, have quite long bits of history. Some of the ancient African kingdoms are quite interesting, but obviously a lot of those didn't really survive and prosper all that long. But, Persia's a very interesting ancient one. But again, it depends if you mean a country that's had, like lots of important things happen throughout history, or ones that have done very well in certain periods and then sort of faded off again. It depends where you live, Crusader. In the UK, it's legal. Would I advise it? No. But, it's all that sort of thing. Yeah, it must have been good stuff Survive back then. I'd probably drink it if it had that in it today and it was priced the way it's priced. Better than sugar. But yeah, like the point I was making with the mini monitor earlier, because I can demonstrate this. Let's say I'm a bit paranoid, or I'm just wanting to do a safety check, and I want to see if there's any contamination on the floor. I'll turn the speaker off so it doesn't get annoying, but what I'll do, flick it on, get the probe like this, because it's got the alpha mica window, hold it in my hand like this, and go along the floor. And then if the needle jumps, and the sound goes off, I know that there's something on the floor, like contamination-wise, so you can actually look for it and get rid of it. Thankfully, I've only once or twice ever found anything on the floor, and it wasn't very exciting. It was just stuff that was, higher than background. But I would suggest probably if people really start getting into collecting that sort of stuff, you do get an alpha mica Geiger like the mini monitor, so you can actually, sweep for stuff properly. Does what emit beta particles, Crusader? A Geiger counter doesn't emit anything; it detects radiation. Yeah, I quite like Count Dankula. You've got a picture of him, haven't you, Frosty? Dankula, even not Dankula. But yeah, I like the Mad Lads videos. But yeah, the mini monitor detects alpha, beta, X-rays, and gamma. But it will depend on the model. But the only problem is, obviously, most Geigers are beta and gamma only, or beta, X-rays, gamma. So it means that, you can't pick up alpha radiation. So if you have a source that emits alpha, like quite highly, and it gets lost somewhere, you're not going to be able to hunt it down using a Geiger counter. Yeah, well, Corporal, I'm thinking at some point I might go up to C-scale and take a load of Geiger counters up there with some test tubes and see if I can find any nuclear contaminants the British government's dumped, because lots of people go up there and find them. So, it's like a treasure hunt, but with radioactive isotopes. Yeah, if I did radios, it would be radios, but obviously it's gas masks and NBC equipment. But, interestingly, I was looking on the US Civil Defense Museum thing earlier, and there was actually a combined Geiger counter and radio when the company's made. No Crusader, because I'm in the UK. So no, I don't. If you mean like a firearm, no. Probably just regular tea, like what they call English breakfast tea, probably in foreign countries, but over here it's just called tea, basically, like black tea, red tea. Green tea's all right as well. Earl Grey's all right. A lot of the flavors here are all right, but just normal cup of tea, like Yorkshire tea. Yeah, a cuppa, exactly. Yeah, I've got a radio thing Survive over there. I can't be asked to get up and reach it, but it's the one Chris recommended. I think I showed it on stream at some point, but I've not really been able to pick much up on it, unfortunately. Cheers, Mahit. I mean, I've watched fireworks displays, but I wouldn't ever be interested in really buying them and setting them off. And I want to be careful with that sort of thing, considering, how much the UK government might think if you're buying fireworks regularly for videos and setting off, you're making explosives or something. I don't know. But about every day, Frosty, or every other day on a couple of my videos, top 10 scariest gas masks, and one of the others, it's why isn't the Plague Doctor mask on here? Even though the top pin comment is me saying, the reason Plague Doctor's masks are not on this video is because they are not gas masks. See this video for more information. But no, they still go, why isn't the Plague Doctor mask here? I'll be on for another 3 or 5 minutes, and then I'll be off. I'll probably go watch a film, I guess, after the stream finishes. Yeah, that sounds pretty illegal, Crusader. Because you're essentially shooting explosives at people, aren't you? Cheers, Ghost Jesus. The only reason I'm not wearing the hoodie today is it's in the wash at the moment. I've been too lazy to wash and tumble dry it, because I've been washing work clothes recently, so I thought, that can, wait for another day. Yeah, you could in theory get it to work, couldn't you, Hype? As long as the eye holes wouldn't let air in. If you had, like the nose holes at the end of the beak, you actually built a heaper and charcoal thing and then another particle filter at the end, it would functionally work. And I think I said that in the video, that, if the beak was filled with an actual filter medium, it would have worked as a gas mask. But the problem was that they put herbs and nice smelling things in. Oh, thank you very much, Unknown Russian. They put nice smelling things in because they thought that, miasma theory, they thought bad smells caused disease, evil odors had the evil spirits in or whatever that caused illness. All right, Bosley, I'm just going to go off in a minute, but I can be on for a minute longer or two if you want. I was trying to think if there's anything interesting. Shall I get the dosimeter pen out and see if that's gone up? I'll hold it up to the thing and you can see if it looks higher than it did before. But I don't know if you've seen the PMK3 yet, Unknown Russian, but I've done the video on that, but it's not live yet. At the moment, I've been getting a lot more Geiger counter type stuff and radiation check sources. Yeah, I'm all right, Big Bosley. Cheers. I'm having a good beer, actually. I'll show you the bottle of this, but it's the ones that they do in the cheapo supermarkets over here called Aldi. But it's actually a really good beer. So there you go. I'm drinking that at the moment. I haven't had much yet because I'm streaming. I'll drink it a bit faster when I finish. No, I don't like discussing politics. Right, let's see if this has gone up at all since the last time I showed it. Where's the Rontgen bar? Where's the Rontgen bar? It's too dark now. I swear it was light earlier. I think we've crept ever slightly closer to 40, but I think this goes up, you know, 1 Rontgen every 3 hours at the moment, next to the check sources. Yeah, it's definitely moved, but it's not moved considerably. As in, when it was pretty much on the line before, it's like a third of the way to the next line. So there we go. But if you want to see something cool quickly, Bosley, I'll show you the radium again, because I'm going to have to pack all that stuff away behind the lead shielding again in a minute. But radium is fun. So, you know, like radium from radium watch dials, I've got a bit of radium dust. So let me show you it. That's what's moving the dosimeter pen quite quickly. So let's just get him out of his bag again. So let's see anything that sets the diagram off. I'll not put the speaker on again because it can get a bit irritating, but you'll be able to see the needle move, right? So that's the speaker off. That's on, yeah, so that's off. Right, you can see the needle there, I take it. So this is the gamma coming off from the radium. That's just a gamma. 50 counts per second, roughly. Between 50 and 100 counts per second. Right, now let's watch what happens with beta and alpha radiation from. Actually, only beta because the plastic is stopping alpha. So let's hold it there. Oh, needle's already moving. Needle's already moving. Ooh. Right, we're at 2,000 counts per second at about this distance. When I do this, though, did you see how quickly that needle snaps? If I'll just, right, okay, ever so quickly then, because it's a cool noise. Ready? Yeah, radium. Probably not a good idea if you've got an old radium watch to wear it. So yeah, that is less than 1/10 of a gram, probably. But yeah, the thing is, most radium watches would at least be safe in the sense they were cheap. You know, like they didn't want to put much radium in the paint. The most radium I found so far comes on aircraft dials, especially the British World War II ones. They dope those things in radium. So, you know, like Spitfire dials, Hurricane dials, you know. The idea being that pilots could see in the dark, you know, without having cabin lights on. Some of the American instruments are really hot from World War II as well. If you find any old, like in the US for not too much money, any of the old World War II aircraft instruments that were painted with, you know, undark paint or whatever they called it. I've seen a turn bank indicator video where it gives off at least 15 to 20 millirontgen in gamma on its own per hour. But yeah, so that's why I've been able to start getting the Rontgen dosimeters to move now, because putting that next to them in a sealed box, because somebody was joking around earlier, which I think is an interesting thing to say, where I showed them all this, and they said, "Oh, you don't need that much lead with your radioactive check sources. You know, you don't need that. There's no point." But you know, when I showed them the radium, they understand why I actually take precautions with it. So it's sealed in a metal box in a bag, you know, with lead shielding around it. I keep a Geiger counter running 24/7 now next to that box. Yep, because they went like that with the paintbrushes to make a tip. They'd get radium in their mouths. I mean, if you were painting radium all day, I think the beta and gamma would give you cancer pretty much inevitably anyway, considering how hot that stuff was. But yeah, ingesting radium, you're dead. The other interesting one is that American bloke who drank from the radioactive quackery thing that put radium in the drinking water. Radiophore it was called. Let me get the article up on it. Right, here's the thing. So if people think I'm joking, here's the article. The 24/7 counter is that Chinese one. It's on the wall, so I can't really show it easily at the moment because it's running off a USB cable. But the BR6B or whatever it was called, the video review of it's not yet online, but it's the one where the battery compartment stopped working because I opened and closed it so many times, taking the tube in and out, so I have to run it off the USB now. And I got annoying with it ticking 24/7, so I got a screwdriver and shoved it into the piezoelectric speaker to break it, because it's not a vintage one, so I don't mind doing that. But now it's perfect because it just sits on my wall and it counts all day, every day, and it definitely works, and like still works. But anyway, yeah, so radio fault. Yeah, it worked fine until his jaw came off, but if I open the Eben Byers thing on it, where it has about his death, yeah. Byers began taking several doses of Radiafor per day, believing it gave him toned-up feeling, but stopped in October 1930 after taking some 1,400 doses when the effect faded. He lost weight and had headaches, and his teeth began to fall out. In 1931, the Federal Trade Commission asked him to testify about his experience, but he was too sick to travel, so the commission sent a lawyer to take his statement at his home. The lawyer reported that Byers' whole upper jaw, excepting 2 front teeth, and most of his lower jaw had been removed, and that all the remaining bone tissues of his body were disintegrating and holes were actually forming in his skull. Yes, radium. So yeah, radioactive quackery was a fucking stupid thing. You know, I've said this before, but it's like the Fallout thing of Nuka-Cola and that. There was real shit in history like that. Oh, radiation's energy, so it must be cool to put it in your body. So yeah. Obviously, Madame Curie works a lot with radiation. You know, although she did live to 60 something, didn't she? But again, it was probably the radium that did her in compared to the uranium and the polonium. But it could have been any of them. But she died of the whatever it's called, plasticity, didn't she? Where like her blood count didn't work properly or whatever. Well, out of all the ones detonated, like the people are saying, Tsar bomb, they detonated the 50 megaton version. They could have scaled it to 100 megaton, but the plane dropping it wouldn't have survived. Tsar bomb was more of a show-off weapon, though, because it was just to demonstrate the Soviets could build a bomb that big, not that it was actually a practical bomb. In terms of warheads, there's been some 25 megaton warheads, hasn't there, for nuclear missiles. But the more modern thing is actually lots of smaller, high-accuracy warheads on, like, MIRVs. The idea being that, you know, you can pinpoint strike things with nuclear weapons, rather than the kind of Soviet thing that was build bigger and bigger megatons, so you don't have to hit the targets very directly, because you'll just carpet bomb everything with megatons. Yeah, I've never heard no cap dead ass before, Mahir, in all honesty. When the Queen dies, I assume Prince Charles becomes the King Crusader, but I'm not that much into the royals, so I couldn't tell you who's next in line for the throne, but I assume it's Charles. But anyway, I'll be going off now because I said I was going off a few minutes ago and I'm still on. But hopefully you've understood now why I put lead around my box, because I take safety precautions properly with this. You know, and yeah, radium is really hot. If you're interested in seeing just one of those radium dials in a video, there's a BioNerd video where she puts her, I think it's Gamma Scout on it, and it causes it to overflow, as in go outside of its, you know, working range, and that gets to 1 point something millisievert, and you know that's when it's not accurately reporting, so it'd be even higher. But yeah, the point is that, you know, in terms of a single radium plane dial, a lot of them would give off, you know, if you were right in front of it, something like, you know, the equivalent of what's that, like 0.4 of a Rontgen. Like 400, 500 millirontgens, 1 sievert. Well, it was over a sievert, wasn't it? But, you know, the point is radium is kind of scary when it comes to natural nuclear isotopes. Anyway, I'm off, so thanks everybody. See you later. I don't think I'll be streaming tomorrow. I want to get a couple of videos filmed, and I've got a few things I need to be doing. I should hopefully stream Tuesday, but I hope everyone has a good day anyway. If I do stream, I'll let people know, but at the moment, I don't think I am. Right, have a good night, everybody. See ya.